Welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. How you guys doing? So in today's video we'll be making samosas rather. I know so many people call them samosas, but back home we call them samosas. So in our ingredients today we have a plate of spices. So I have garlic, ginger, salt, all-purpose seasoning, cooling runnings, that's the name of the brand, cool runnings. Then you have black pepper, whole cumin, garam masala, chili, dry parsley, and cilantro. I hope I'm saying it correctly. Then we have one medium onion in the small plate, and the glass of water, that's 3/4, and lemon. I haven't measured the lemon yet. I'll measure it when I'm adding it. And then the flour, all-purpose flour, those are 2 cups of all-purpose flour. And the grounded beef, that's 1 pound, which is 454 grams of grounded beef, which is also known as minced meat. So we'll just dive that's 2 cups of all-purpose flour. I'm going ahead to add my salt. This is the measurement that I'm adding, but for salt you add as per your measurement. And to just keep in mind, this is a spoon that I use to measure all my spices, except from the garlic I measured one and a half of these. So, and then I'm gonna mix the dry ingredient first before I add my water. After everything is well combined, I'm going to add my water. This is 3/4. I measured it. I'm gonna add slowly by slowly, and then I'm gonna measure it. I'm gonna combine it before I add everything. And I usually make my wraps without adding oil. Yes, you can add oil if you want. I make mine without adding oil. I'm gonna measure, put more. So I'm going to start using my hand. Let me go wash my hands. Please make sure your hands are clean before you start kneading using your hands. Okay, so with my clean hands, I'm going to knead it. So this dough should not be soft like a chapati dough, and it should not be hard. I think I'm gonna add the remaining. This is the remaining. It's just a bit. So I'm gonna knead it completely and then show you guys once I'm done. This kneading, I just don't want it to take so much time, so you just knead it. Don't add more water. If you need to add water, just add like a pinch, but it shouldn't be hard. So that's what I have. I just needed, I did not add oil, I did not add any more water. I added 3/4. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of this oil in my hand to just like completely knead it and let it rest for about 10 to 15 minutes. So this is what I have in my hand. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to apply all over. It should not be hard and it should not be soft like a chapati. To just bring it together, I'm going to let it rest for about 10 to 15 minutes. Then we'll come and roll it into small pieces. So I wrapped my dough in aluminium. Is it aluminium? No, a plastic wrap, and I'm going to cover it with this white clean towel. As it rests, we'll just start on our filling, which is the grounded beef. So on a medium pan, I'm going to add my grounded beef directly. No oil. Okay, it's raising to come. And then using a wooden spoon, or if you have there's this thing which you can use to like kind of cook grounded meat so that it doesn't really form up into balls and into chunks. So I'm going to use this to break it down, and I'm going to cook it until it's completely cooked, which means it's completely turned brown. Then we'll add our spices. I'm going to add all my spices in, all of them. I hope this is not too much chili. I'm going to mix it up. My heat is on the lower side. So after adding my spices, I'm gonna let it cook for about like 2 minutes for all the spices to cook. Then I'll add my onions and my lemon later on. Then after that, I'm going to add my onions. And I'm gonna let the onions cook completely, not really completely, but to kind of like combine together and to reduce their acidity. And then after everything is combined, I will add the lemon as the last thing, and maybe add salt if I'm going ahead to add my lemon. And it will just cook for about 30 seconds and it's already completely done. I don't want my onions to completely cook down. I want them to be kind of crunchy but not so crunchy. So at this point you can add your salt or any other spices that you wanted to add. So this is done, so we'll just move on to making our dough into wraps, then fill it up and deep fry it. So after 10-15 minutes, I'm going to remove it from the foil. It's already rested. This is my flour. I'll need flour, and this is oil, and this is just a brush. So I'm going to flour my clean surface, then take it and just knead it for like the final round before I make it. I cut it into like small circular balls. And make sure this thing is your dough is not really hard or soft. So I have my knife over here. I'm going to be cutting into small balls, and then what I'll do, I'll just kind of tuck the ball in. Small balls. I'll tuck them in, and then I'll be forming like these tiny ones. So let me finish forming these ones, and so I'll take one of the small balls I made, then with a rolling pin I'll just roll it circular. I made mine small, but you can make yours kind of big, but just make sure it's not so big, because you're going to stack them up together and it should not be so big. And also your pan also determines how big you make them, because if you make them really big and you don't really have a big pan, then you'll be forced to kind of cut them in the middle. So after rolling all of them, so I took one, it's still small. With the oil that I have, I'll take the oil, put my brush inside, and put the oil all over. Make sure it covers everywhere, all corners, because if you don't really cover all corners, then they won't really unstuck when you're trying to like unstuck them together. Then your flour, a good amount of the flour, put it completely everywhere, and then take one, you put it on top, and then you just repeat the process again until all of them are done. So let me finish. Let me put this on first. Make sure when you're putting the oil goes everywhere, every corner. It should not be kind of dry. Then you take your flour, you put generously the corners, generously. You take one small chapati, you put. So let me finish this and then we'll roll it out all together. So now we have a stack of our small chapatis put together. So what we're going to do, we're going to roll them. And don't worry about creating a mess, because you kept oil, so the more you're pressing it, then some oil will kind of like fall off, drip off. And your chapatis are not identical, so some will kind of overlay, but we're supposed to roll this completely to a very big one chapati, like one layer chapati, and it should stretch out so much. That's why I keep on and they have flour on the bottom. It should be bigger than what your normal chapati's were. So I'm going to roll out mine. I know it will take some few minutes, so I'm going to do it off camera and then come back when it's completely rolled out. So I have this. So my pan is definitely smaller than this. So what I usually do, I usually cut in the middle so that all my so that they can all fit and just kind of cook. And then I will stack this together and then cut in the middle again. So I'm going to cook them one after the other. So what I usually do, I put this directly into the pan. So let's go do that. So on a pan, my heat was low. You're supposed to kind of cook them on low heat. So the only thing that you need to do is just kind of flip and turn them until the first layer kind of comes off. So that's why I was just like checking on the edges. So I left it for about 3 minutes, then I took it out. So the wrap that was actually touching on the side, that's the first one that it's actually which was direct into contact with the pan. And then what I just did to the rest, I just kind of removed them slowly. You have to be really careful when you're just unsticking them, and then that's how you get your samosas wrap. You can also use these wraps for like spring rolls, but the shapes are usually cut differently. Be very careful when you're removing your wraps because they steam and they're hot. And then what I usually like doing to mine, I put my wraps in between the two kitchen towels to just keep them from drying off, because if they dry so much they just like kind of become hard. So you just have to toast and turn on the pan for on low heat, then remove it when the first layer is kind of everything is done. So this is one of our wraps. You see, it's kind of like so light. So with the excess here, I'll just take a knife and just cut it off. I'll be showing you guys. Yeah, so if you cut it off, you don't throw away these leftovers. There's a way that you can kind of cut them into like smaller chunks and deep fry them, and you can just like have a snack. Anyway, so this is the wrap that you were left with. So it depends with you how you want big your samosas to be, if they're like for, it depends on the occasion, to be honest. So what I like doing to mine, on this side, this is where I form the square. You can just also play around with it. It doesn't have to be extremely like mine. So on this part, this is just all-purpose flour and water. It's supposed to be a paste. With your clean hands, just put aside, apply on this side completely, and then take this side and wrap it over. But also keep in mind this side issue, the pointy side, the edge, the edge side should be completely sealed so that the meat doesn't really have a way out. I have my tissue here, and then we have a pouch. So you open up the pouch, you take how much meat you want, the quantity. I'll put 1, 2, so roughly 2. Then I'll shake it to kind of go down. So this is how it looks like on this side. And then this kind of leftover hanging flour, I will kind of tuck it in with it. Then take more of this, put it on here, or you can put it also here, but I like putting it on the side which is covering it, and then you just, after this has entered completely inside, you just flip it over and you make sure your edges are sealed, and that's how you make a samosa. And that's how you make a samosa. So let's try again with this one. So let me put this aside. So this one, you cut the excess, the kind of thick parts. On this side, that's where you form a rectangle. I want to make sure it's completely sealed. Yeah. Okay, I'll even put it from here. You can genuinely play with your food, but don't play with food anyway. We seal this part. You have your clean tissue, and then you open. If you have excess, you can just like cut it off. It doesn't really, I don't really like so much wrap on a samosa, so I usually use the bare minimum. So you take your meat, one scoop, shove it down, the second scoop, shove it down completely, kind of shake it up. This leftover, which is remaining, I'm gonna put some here, and then anyway, that's unnecessary, but the necessary part is you put over here, and then when you're folding it, you make sure these ends are completely sealed like this, and you have yourself another samosa. So I'll do all of them, then we'll be deep frying them together. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, guys. Please like and subscribe. Your wrap, this is your wrap. You fold it in the middle. Wait, before you take all of them, you fold it, you make sure everything is gonna be sealed. You put it at the corner. This is a trick that I usually use. So before adding everywhere, before adding the paste to the rest of the this part, I just put it at the corner to make sure everything is gonna be sealed. Then take and then wrap it all over, and then put it there. Then open it like this. Take the first spoon. It depends on how many spoons you want. For me, I'm using 2 spoons, 2 complete spoons. So you see this didn't really come out, so I'm just gonna add like 2, and then I just kinda shake it to go down. Then you'll have some extra over here. When you have some extra over here, you just kinda tuck it in like this. Then take your paste again, put it on the edges, extremely on the edges, so that whenever you're folding it, also these 2 corners can also be completely sealed. Your clean tissue, wipe away the excess. Take this, make sure this is kinda inside, it's kinda folded, then just put it over here, and then make sure the edges, this corner and this corner, is completely sealed. And there you have it. I'm going to just be putting them directly. If you have, like, if you can deep fry yours, you can. I'm just going to shallow fry kind of mine because everything is cooked, so they'll just cook for around 1 minute each side. My heat is kind of medium. Actually, my heat is medium, and I'm just going to let them cook for 1 minute each side. So I'm just looking for the wrap to just completely cook, because the meat inside is already cooked. So let's wait for about 30 more seconds, and we'll be able to turn them over. So I'm going to turn mine. I know that it's not really completely done cooking on the other side, but I'm just going to turn them. You can add more if you like, but I'm just I'm going to be cooking them around 4 or 3. So I'm looking for golden brown color, and I'm satisfied with how this they're turning out. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to remove them, place them on a paper towel to drain the excess oil. So if you've reached this far, thank you so much for supporting us. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't, please don't forget to subscribe. And once you do that, don't forget to hit the notification bell. Follow us on our social media. I'll be putting the link down below. And thank you so much. God bless you. So this is how the 3 samosas turned out. And I have others cooking right now. Please don't forget to share, subscribe, and don't forget to like. Bye.